we interrupt your regular YouTube viewing for the absolutely, completely random podcast with Andrew Rhodes. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the absolutely, completely random podcast. My name is Andrew Rhodes. As always, I'm your host. It's Saturday, April 7th, 2018, and what do I have in store for you today? Well, I'm going to be talking about Toonami's April Fool's Day joke, which was freaking awesome. And I don't even have cable. I found out about this, ironically, on April Fool's Day, and it was just so awesome, it was unreal. Live-action Naruto movie information has been dropped. Oh boy, and it just gives me that warm and fuzzy feeling inside. Or maybe it's just gas. The original Teen Titans series may be returning for a final season? Ooh. Niantic will reportedly settle for nearly $1.6 million over that bungled Pokemon Go festival. Yeah, we all heard about that. Pop Team Epic's brand of humor is not for everybody. Well, yeah, I can pretty much tell you that. Hunter x Hunter manga is sadly going back on hiatus starting April 9th. Aw, man, I knew that wasn't going to last long. Thousands of Amazon customers are pissed over deactivated accounts. Baby Metal, that Japanese singing group, is getting a graphic novel from Z2 Comics. And Pokemon Go has some updates with the legendary Pokemon Mew, Latios, and Latias. All this and more. Maybe a bag of chips, maybe some fries, maybe a giant Dr. Pepper. Please keep in mind, I am not authorizing any food on this video. And maybe, I don't know. But all that and more on the absolutely, completely random podcast. Before we go any further, you know the song and dance by now. If you're looking for oddities, collectibles, weird stuff, what have you, check out my eBay page, Aroads-2012 on eBay. Have a lot of weird stuff. You can follow me on Twitter, @OtakuRhodes, and you can also follow my Facebook page, WebDesigner18 on Facebook. So how'd my week go? Let's just start this off like we do every week. How was my week? Freaking busy, to say the least. It was busy. I actually had planned and recorded an Andrew Rants video, but then the more I sat down and re-listened to it, the more I'm like, nah, I don't really want to put this up. No, I think I could make this better. So I'm holding off on it, which kind of sucks because it was the only other thing I recorded this week. For those of you wondering, I had like 3 days of work this week after the 3 days last week, and I overslept last Saturday. I'm kind of embarrassed about that. I actually had my mom waking me up, and I'm like, crap. When I looked at the time, I was like, shit. I start work at 5 in the morning. When I have to work, I have to be there at 5 in the morning. Unless I have to be there at 4, but they specify that otherwise. But it's kind of embarrassing when you set your alarm and wake up at 2:30, and you literally sleep through your alarm. And I mean 2:30 in the morning. And you sleep through your alarm. That's kind of embarrassing. And that's sadly what happened last week. As I went to wake up, I was asleep. My mom's yelling. I'm looking at my clock, and it's like going on like 3:30, going on 4 o'clock. I was like, shit. I was really pissed. My whole day was shot because of that. I was running around like a headless chicken getting ready. I didn't get to have breakfast that morning, which whenever I go to work, I usually have like a thing of ramen because it's simple to make, it's easy to make. And I got a crap ton of it stockpiled, so I have to start going through that. But other than that, the week's been kind of fun. I did get a chance to finally download Sword Art Online Integral Factor. I do have to admit, it is a lot of fun. The hype that they were building up for is not doing it justice. It's so much better than that. It literally throws you into the Aincrad arc. I'm planning to do a whole review thing of it, but if you want to download it now, I just got a couple fair warnings to give out for it. One, it is still new. We're talking version 1 here. My guess is just came off of alpha testing, which for those of you that aren't aware, you have beta testing and then there's alpha testing, or usually alpha testing then beta testing, one of the ways it goes. So it's like it literally just came off the testing run. They fixed a couple things, but there are still some bugs, some glitches, and some problems. But nothing that can't really hamper your gameplay. You can honestly just play this thing. You can 100%, it's playable. It's just that the longer you play it, the more you're going to start to see these bugs. Like, occasionally, like, the enemy may disappear from the screen, or it may take it a couple minutes to materialize. You may have intermittent transmission errors where you have to basically refresh the game, or it has to restart the app. Occasionally, you will lose the audio completely, then it'll come back, and it's intermittent. But otherwise, it's kind of fun. Happily, though, I did find one thing out. There is no way to actually die in this game. I mean, your hit points hit 0. Unlike the actual Sword Art Online game where you die, that's it, bye-bye, nice knowing you. It gives you a chance to revive yourself because it considers you near death. And it gives you like a counter. You have a choice to either return or, like, to return to the home screen or go back to, or use one of your revive crystals, which you can get by completing certain quests. I completed 5 of those to get those, and literally pissed through all 5 of them just to beat the boss on floor number 4. So that instantly tells me there is no chance, that I have no chance in hell of even taking on floor number 5's boss, so I had to level myself up, like, tremendously. So it's going to be grinding time for me for a while. But the cool thing, though, about this, like I said, I'm going to do a whole review thing on this, but I just want to give, like, the lowdown for those that want to download it. It is free to play. There are some in-app purchases that you can get, but otherwise, it is free to play. It's a fun game. Literally throws you right into the Aincrad arc of Sword Art Online. It throws in some ALO and some of the stuff from the second season, like you can find, I don't want to give too much away, but Yuki comes in on the one floor. You have Leafia comes in on the one floor and helps out. So there are characters from the other sections of Sword Art Online, and the story itself differs right at the first boss battle. The story differs because you can change up the story, and I'm not going to give too much away here. I'll try not to spoil it in the review, but otherwise, it's not a bad game. You can download it for iOS and Android devices. I recommend it. It's really good. I don't mean to plug it here. I mean, like I said, I'm going to do an entire review video on this. Probably after I record this, I'll probably record it. It's not bad by any means. It's a good game. I mean, it's a great RPG. I like it. It's just something that I was needing for my tablet. Sadly, though, as one thing good comes, something else has to go, and I had to get rid of One Piece Treasure Cruise. And I got rid of it for 2 reasons. One, they nerfed the difficulty, making it next to impossible to complete certain missions, next to impossible to do a lot of the stuff on the extra islands, even if you have maxed out characters. I was finding it difficult to complete some of the missions and the quests, so I'm like, screw this. And I also started having a problem where it was glitching. And I mean, not like my tablet usually glitches every now and then, which it does. It like skips a little beat, and I can tell when it's going to do it. This one just flat out, it glitched the one time, and I was stuck for like a good 5 minutes just getting pounded by the enemy because I couldn't do anything. And it wasn't that the enemy had like a massive power-up or something, like they gave me a bluff or something that caused error or a glitch or something to happen, or a status ailment. I just couldn't make any connecting hits. None of them. Every single time I so much as pressed on the thing, as I like tapped on my tablet, it just wouldn't connect. It kept missing every single hit. I thought, okay, maybe my touchscreen was screwed up. I tried Contest of Champions then. No issue. I mean, I'm having difficulty with that game too because I'm taking on higher up opponents now, which definitely shows you where your skill level is, because you can get schooled very easily with some high level opponents. I just tried doing another quest today, actually, with the higher level characters you have to go up against. I stockpiled some revives, I stockpiled some health potions, and pissed them all away, and couldn't even complete the quest. So I have to do a lot more training, a lot more ranking and leveling up. Otherwise, things are going pretty good. The Alliance on Contest of Champions is doing pretty well. I'm actually planning on doing some promoting and demoting in the coming days, because my one second in command is sadly out of commission for a while. I'm not going to explain why here. They're just out of commission for a while. Which, in all honesty, stuff happens IRL. There's nothing you can do to prevent it. So, yeah, there's that. But otherwise, things are going pretty good. Do I really have anything else to add in this? Not really. Nothing that can come to my mind here. I just had a lousy day yesterday with work. I kind of have a habit, apparently, of pissing off one of my coworkers. Other than that, and it's like weighing on me now, but other than that, nothing else is really exciting that happened. So, let's jump into the podcast and let's get this thing started, shall we? I got a lot to talk about and not a lot of time to do it. Okay, so last week was April Fool's Day, and I personally didn't do anything. I kind of lost my taste for April Fool's Day pranks back when a lot of YouTubers started screwing with their viewers. And this was one of the reasons why I stopped watching The Completionist, because he did an April Fool's Day video, because April Fool's Day was on Friday that year, and he did a video that just pissed me off, because instead of actually reviewing a video game, he's reviewing a television show and claiming it to be a video game. It had to be a television show that, in all honesty, shouldn't have been made. In fact, its predecessor should have just been on HBO series instead of something on regular cable. And that was Better Call Saul, the spinoff for Breaking Bad. I'm not going to go into what Breaking Bad is. In all honesty, just Google search it, because I'm just not that big of a fan of it. I have a cousin that was into that. I got a friend that knows more about that than I do. But as far as I'm concerned, it does not thrill me. So April Fool's Day, though, was last week, and Toonami and Adult Swim always love pulling some April Fool's Day stuff. Adult Swim does it every year. They usually have an ongoing joke where they would start playing The Room, then they stopped doing that a couple years ago, did something else, and they changed it up each year. It gets better and better each time. But last week, they did something that I guarantee you not only made the anime community of fans just cream their jeans with happiness. And I know that sounds wrong, but you can blame Anime for Dummies for that, because I watched a video of that earlier today. So you can blame them for that, because I had that joke stuck in my head. But this probably got a lot of them excited. So last week, Toonami had the preview of Fully Coolly Progressive, which is the upcoming Fully Coolly continuation. But on top of that, the entire Toonami block was subbed instead of dubbed. I mean, you actually have subtitles, Japanese on there. It was funny in the way that, because they don't have sub programming on their block at all, which is something that a lot of fans have constantly complained about, bitched about, and yelled about. Because, it's not subbed, they have subs, some that don't like the dubs would rather have the subs, and vice versa. It's been an uphill battle with that. They had their reasons for it, they explained it multiple times, but this was like an April Fool's Day joke, and it was just something that was so well done. I just have to give them kudos for it. Because, I mean, that was so well done that they literally up and did it like this. I mean, and it was 6 years ago, too, mind you, that they brought Toonami back. Because 6 years ago, on April Fool's Day, was when they did the whole having Tom 3 come back in the Absolution, or the whatever the ship was called, because it would have been his third incarnation. I don't think they called it the Absolution anymore. But they had him, Sarah, and the ship back for the entire night. They aired the new episode of Bleach for that week, and then literally just had nothing but Toonami programming for the rest of the night, followed by the hashtag, did you like our little April Fool's Day joke? Like literally the next night, because I was watching the Venture Brothers then the next night. So literally the next night, they have this hashtag up. Did you like it? Hashtag bring back Toonami. Let us know what you think. A lot of people did that. They told them, hey, this was really great. Hey, we wanted more of it. Hey, we'd like it to come back. Bring back Toonami. They go, we're listening. We're working on it. We heard you. We're working on it. About a month or two later, it comes back. And it's just been on ever since, facing a couple cancellations, massive reduction in time, and some screwing around with the schedule. But otherwise, it's back. And last week's April Fool's Day prank was just amazing. They debuted, they had a movie or something on too, it's like Mind Game or something. That was a little creepy. I saw the trailer for that on YouTube then, and it was kind of creepy. But otherwise, that, I have to admit, as far as April Fool's Day jokes go, it wasn't so much a joke, but was one hell of a great gift for the fans. I can safely say that. Because, I mean, to hear Tom speaking in Japanese, to hear Sarah in Japanese, was amazing. They did a video game review in Japanese, then they released the English dub then too. They did the whole night was in Japanese. They even had kanji at the one part, because you can pull up the images. They actually had kanji to tell you what everything was. Sort of like, well, unless you read Japanese, you don't know what's coming up. So stay tuned. It's going to be a random grab bag of stuff for the night. And it basically was just a regular program. So it was kind of interesting. It's something that I kind of wish they would do more of. Stuff like that. Because that's where you definitely get a lot of fans interactive. That's where you have a lot of coolness happening from the fans. I saw no negative comments for that. At least to the best of my knowledge. So that was something that was very well done, very tasteful, very great, and I liked it. Like I said, kudos. As far as April Fool's Day stuff goes, that was beautiful. Well done. Well done indeed, Toonami. Well done indeed. Live action adaptations of anime. You all know my thoughts and feelings on this. They suck. They gotta go. They're not worth it. But the live action Naruto movie has gotten an update. From director Michael Gracie. For those of you who don't know who Michael Gracie is, he did The Greatest Showman, which I really hate to say this, other than having Hugh Jackman in, which even the critics said Hugh Jackman was was perfect in that, they hated the rest of the movie. At least it wasn't the Dak Shepard project, but it was bad. But according to Gracie, they're currently working on the script, and he wants to get it to the point where creator Masashi Kishimoto will be excited about it. Yeah. Gracie is aware of the pitfalls of Hollywood adaptations of manga and anime source material, so it seems he's playing it safe here. If the script doesn't end up at the right level, he says, has no interest in destroying an amazing franchise. Basically, let's put it this way. Dragon Ball Evolution sucked. No one is going to deny that. That was one of the worst movies you've ever seen that was based off an anime adaptation and a manga at best. They did no research on the source material. They knew nothing about what they were talking about. They just slapped stuff on there and said, screw it, this is a movie, let's cut, print, roll. Then you had Attack on Titan, which they at least followed that as best they could, but you had technical issues and glitches because they didn't bother to plan this one out as well as they would hope. G-Savior was this crappy Gundam live-action movie, which God knows why that thing was even popular. I did see the trailer for that. Actually, I was able to pull most of the movie on YouTube in clips. Ugh, it wasn't that great. So, why then would you want to take the chance of making more? Now, like I said, Rurouni Kenshin is one of the few adaptations that actually can do well in a live action, but that's because it's literally a samurai flick. Although you ain't going to be seeing much of those right now, courtesy of the problem with its creator. Yeah, that's not going to go away too soon. So, we'll have to see what ends up cracking the script. In the meantime, though, here's some of what Gracie had to say, and you can check out the full Colander post for the rest. So he did an interview with Colander. I don't know what the hell that is, to be honest with you. So, in it they go, I don't know if it will be my next film, to be honest. You know Kishimoto, who created the original series, he's just a genius. So many Hollywood adaptations of really popular manga series just don't get it right. And for what was really important was that if I was going to do Naruto, I wanted to actually work with Kishimoto to get a script to a stage where he would look at it and be excited about releasing it or realizing it. Because no one knows the world better than the person who created it. That's true. If they would have did that with Akira Toriyama, Evolution may not have sucked. Then again, if anybody would have bothered looking and asking Toriyama, GT wouldn't have sucked. As previously reported, though, Reds, John, and Eric Hornber are working on the script's rewrite, and the film is being produced at Arad Productions, whatever the hell that is. I've never heard of that before. So, we have a Naruto live-action movie coming. Now, this is my question. Is it going to be the original Naruto, or are we looking Naruto Shippuden? Because, in all honesty, your best bet, and I'm going to hate to say this, but your best bet for a decent movie with Naruto, and it's going to be if you go with the Shippuden arc. And I mean just straight up pick one of the things in that and make a live-action film about that. Not only would you have a Hollywood blockbuster, but you could actually write it off as, okay, look, we live-action the manga and anime series, we just made it slightly different because it's live-action versus hand-drawn. That would be more helpful than, oh yeah, we came up with the live-action adaptation, fans hated it, they want our heads on a platter, we don't blame them. That would not end well for anyone involved. Seriously. But, like I said, you're not going to know until it comes out. I don't even know when it's coming out. So, we'll have to be on the lookout for more information from this. But otherwise, I'm still uneasy about it. It's just the fact that I'm not a fan of live-action adaptations when it comes to manga and anime. They leave a sour taste in my mouth. And I have so many things I can quote for it. You know most of them by now. They just leave a sour taste in my mouth. You even had that Death Note abomination. It just left a sour taste in my mouth because it was so bad. And nobody seems to understand that concept. It was so bad, and it was bad for a reason. But otherwise, just has to look forward to it, see if it's going to be good or not. I don't know. Just to be on the lookout. But you never know until it comes out, right? So if you're a fan of Teen Titans Go, safe to say you've already heard about the upcoming movie that's coming out that a lot of people are singing the praises for, while the other half are saying, dear God, why? And I'm one of those. However, the producer of Teen Titans Go says the original Teen Titans cartoon might be coming back. But now, don't get your hopes up, though, because this rumor's been going around for years. But this kind of got my attention because they kind of actually had like an image for it. They had a bit of an idea as to what it's going to be, and they even have a potential release date. So all those things included are sort of a giant possibility in my book. But anyway, so with Teen Titans Go headed to the movies for its first big screen adventure, which I still have to go why, and Young Justice poised to rise from the ashes and debut its third season later this year. Wow, they're actually bringing that thing back from the grave? Yeah, I thought that was dead and buried at this point. Fans of DC's Young Heroes only have one question remaining. Where's the love for the original Teen Titans? You know, the series that was started that they screwed over so badly by having Teen Titans Go basically bury them in the ground and then just piss on the grave. Well, get ready to jump for joy because despite being off the air for more than a decade, Teen Titans may actually be in line for a comeback sooner rather than later. At least one producer of the franchise seems to think so. During the Teen Titans Go panel at WonderCon this past weekend, producer Michael Jelnick, and I do apologize if I mispronounced your name, was asked about the original Teen Titans series and whether or not a reboot or reimagining of the cartoon could ever happen. Jelnick didn't hold back any optimism regarding the idea. The producer told fans in attendance that he could almost guarantee that the original series would be coming back. Those are certainly some strong words. And there was an actual tweet here TTG had a panel at WonderCon today, and co-producer Michael Jelenic stated that he can almost guarantee the original Teen Titans is coming back, so yeah, we'll see. Further down, there was another thing on here. Some more of the article then, I should say. While this is by no means an official announcement, because let's face it, there have been rumors, a Teen Titans comeback doesn't sound so too far-fetched in 2018. I mean, let's face it, we live in the world of reboots and remakes, and the superhero genre can be a money-making machine. Unless you're DC, Justice League tanked. Let's stop and look at this for a moment. Okay, so you have the DC Universe. Batman v Superman, tanked and was critically panned. Wonder Woman was your only smash hit, but that was because it was the first ever female superhero movie that ever got released in massive theaters. So you can't count that towards a notch in your belt at all. You had Justice League, that tanked. Your Batman movies with Christopher Nolan as Batman. So I think that's what that guy's name was. The one that, whoever played, was it Christian Bale? I think it was Christian Bale. Whoever played Batman for The Dark Knight Rises, and The Dark Knight Begins, or whatever the third one was. Those all sucked. I mean, some of them were good, but let's face it, Batman as a whole is not that great of a character. And you're saying that this is going to be, superhero is a money-making machine. Yeah, if you're Marvel. Let's take a look at the difference here, because you're basically comparing literally Marvel and DC at this point. So with Marvel, you have the established cinematic universe. You have the Marvel MCU. The Infinity Wars is just getting ready to kick off later this month. In fact, it'll be in about 20 days. They're going to be kicking off Infinity Wars. You have the, what is it? Oh, yes, you have the continuity between each movie. You have the fact that it is an established universe that has only had to reboot one movie twice, and that was Spider-Man. And the only reason why is because, in all honesty, I think they got the rights back at the one point, and then they thought they screwed up the one. I kind of liked, what was his name? Andrew Garfield. I kind of liked him as Peter Parker. Yeah, I know the new guy has more of a, accent that would fit Parker. I'm all for that, but let's face it, I kind of liked it. It was a good movie. I didn't see the second one, but the first one was good. I liked it. Tobey Maguire trilogy, I can take it or leave it. But now let's look at the other side of that coin with DC. How many freaking Batman movies did they have since the dawn of time? Back in the 80s, you had Batman movies like crazy. There was Batman movies galore. You had, Tommy Lee Jones played in one. He played the Two-Face. You had Jim Carrey played the Riddler in one, unless it was the same movie. Danny DeVito was the Penguin in one of the movies. Then you had the George Clooney reboot with Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze. Notice how I can tell you who the villains were versus who played Batman. What does that tell you? I went to that to see the villains for that. Especially Mr. Freeze. I always like Mr. Freeze. He's one of my favorites. But you had that. Then you had the remake. The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight, The Dark Knight Begins. The Dark Knight Rises and The Dark Knight, whatever that third one was. It skips my mind. Unless that one was Rises. I don't know. But you had the Dark Knight trilogy. It was Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight Rises. That's what it was. Okay, so you had that whole trilogy. Which we all know how well that went. Especially the freaking press that happened out in Aurora with The Dark Knight Rises. That did not help your case. Then you have Batman v Superman. Because, Batman sucks as a standalone superhero. Let's just get Superman involved in this. All the Superman movies you've had up until now have sucked too. And I really hate to say this, but Christopher Reeves was not that great of a Superman. I'm sorry. Superman is not that great of a character to begin with, and you literally have him playing this. Okay, that's wonderful, that's great. I couldn't follow those movies. I remember my grandmother once said, Superman 4's on. Oh, that's nice. That movie's confusing. I don't want to watch that one. Well, why don't you want to watch it? because it's confusing. I don't like it. I'm not a fan of Superman. I'm more of a Marvel guy. So all the Superman movies, kind of sucked, especially because I remember I took a trip down to Washington, D.C. Before my senior year in high school, and they were showing the one Superman movie in the IMAX theater in the Smithsonian, and that's Superman Returns, that's what it was, and they're showing that, and that movie sucked, because I did see that then on TV. That sucked. So it's like, so why bother having a Superman movie? Well, they don't want to have another standalone one. We all know how bad, those are. The standalone Batman one with Ben Affleck, I assume, is still coming. Maybe he'll do better with that. Although I kind of liked him in Daredevil, but he wants to forget that. You weren't bad in Daredevil. It was the script that was bad, not you. You can't blame yourself for a bad script. You have no control over that. So DC movies suck. And you're trying to go, well, the superhero genre is a money-making machine. Yeah, if you're making television shows. But then again, let's look at that end of the spectrum now. Who has the controlling rights for most of DC's live-action television shows? CW, because CBS ditched Supergirl and CW picked it up. I don't see a lot of them rushing to the forefront of, hey, we want to have, Supergirl, we want to have Batgirl, we want another Batman series. I don't see them rushing to that. And as far as the animated ones, yeah, the animated ones will do well so long as you don't piss off the original fans. So it can be a money-making machine, no problem, but you have to make sure you're not pissing off the die-hard fans that you still have, because those are the ones you're going to want. When it comes to stuff like this, you're going to want the diehard fans to jump in on this. You're going to want to have them be there all the time and go, yeah, I want to be here. I want to watch this. This is living up to my expectations. Those are the ones you want to try to gear it towards. They'll be the ones that'll suck the other ones in. They'll go, no. Watch this with me. It's good. That's what happens. It's sort of like that whole, if you're a young child, you see an older kid doing something, you want to do what they're doing because you think it's cool. That's why they always try to tell the older kids, don't smoke, don't drink, don't do drugs, because the younger kids are going to see it. And that's what it is. So if you get something that the older kids are going to want to watch, the younger kids will go, hey, this does look pretty cool, and they'll want to watch it with them. And there's how you get the money rolling in. But if you do something that you're pandering to the small kids, like Teen Titans Go, and the older kids want nothing to do with it, that's not helping your case. All that's doing is pissing off the fan base, which you've done. So I'm not going to deny that. But the only problem here is the idea that could actually be too much of the Teen Titans in various forms of media. We'll get rid of Teen Titans Go and we'll be fine. Even counting the comic books, the characters are set to appear 3 different times this year. Teen Titans Go to the movies will be released in theaters on July 27th. Oh God, that's coming up fast. Young Justice and the live-action Teen Titans series. Oh God, a live-action series too. Oh jeez. Both of which contain characters from the comic team are set to premiere on DC's exclusive streaming service sometime in the fall. So, you're going to have an overload of Titans content, okay? How about we just get rid of Teen Titans Go to the movies? Let's just drop that and call it a failed experiment and just call it a day. Because you are not going to make any money. When you have an actual creator of cartoons, Butch Hartman did a thing. He goes, it's a fart joke. The trailer is supposed to entice you to want to see the movie, and it was a fart joke. That was the whole trailer, was basically a fart joke. That's what you're pitching to the people. Let's just call it a day already. So the original Teen Titans series is held in such high regards by fans that a reboot would likely be more than welcomed. The animated classic aired 65 episodes and a movie on Cartoon Network from 2003 to 2006. It was the love for the show that ended up giving life to Teen Titans Go in the first place. Ugh. No, personally, I think that was a money-making scheme that went wrong. Because you see a lot of Teen Titans Go merchandise. How many out there remember any Teen Titans action figures? Because I sure as hell don't. There was no, Robin, Starfire, Cyborg, Beast Boy, or Raven action figures on a Walmart shelf. I don't remember seeing any figures for them where you could, move them, you could play with them. But I've seen more crap for Teen Titans Go than I have seen for any other DC property. So, like I said, don't get too excited because, in all honesty, it could be one of those far-fetched things. I don't know. Personally, I'm kind of hoping that it comes back. I'd like to see the reboot. But from what I read, if it does come back, it's literally going to be taking place right after the final episode of the original series. With Beast Boy running off and leaving Terra, or who we assumed was Terra, at that school, and that's going to be where it kicks off. It'll be the 6th and final season, and it's supposedly to come out in 2019. At least that was the rumor on the Twitter page. Now, like I said, don't get excited because this rumor has been spreading since the series ended. I mean, hell, the fans were thinking that Teen Titans Go was going to be a reboot that we all wanted, and it wasn't. So, what does that tell you? It sucked. So, it's one of those we're going to have to wait and see. Hopefully it'll come back. If it does, I'm looking forward to it if it does. If it doesn't, and we're stuck with another season of Teen Titans Go, I say just pull the plug on it and just throw them into a bottomless pit. Alright. Are you an Amazon customer? Are you one of the many customers that were taken to social media because your account was deactivated? And you're pissed and raged and angered? Do you not have an outlet or a kickboxing or a heavy bag to take your anger and frustration out on? Well, good news, because a lot of people probably don't. Because they're taking to social media saying they did nothing wrong to warrant their account's deactivation or are unaware if they did anything wrong. So apparently, what's going on is that thousands of Amazon customers are outraged and reportedly have been locked out of their Amazon accounts this week without warning. They try logging in. Amazon tells them that they have violated the company's terms of service or that their account cannot be found. Oops. That's what you call... That's when you start playing the Price is Right losing noise. One of these customers was a busy grandmother with a disability, Susan Stephen of Montgomery Heights. Don't know where that is, but it was in the article. Is always looking forward to a good deal and convenience. So online shopping and her Amazon Prime account made life a little easier. She buys dog food in bulk by the month. She's been purchasing like this since 2011. But it was until several days ago when she suddenly found herself locked out of her account. I was told that my account had been shut down due to terms of sale violation. She was also unable to get in to delete her bank account and car information. It should be card information, by the way. I was afraid that there was a breach or possibility of a breach. Has our privacy been compromised? Thousands of Amazon users have taken similar complaints and questions to social media. Some using hashtag Amazon closed. A Facebook group, Amazon account closed for discussion group, is made up of users complaining about their issues and looking for answers. Has more than 3,000 members. So, what in the hell's going on, basically? I'd want to say like an internal glitch, maybe. Updated servers. Somebody put a 0 in the wrong spot. Damned if I know. This is nuts. And Amazon's a kind of a big company. At least online market-wise. This is probably going to push a lot of people to eBay, in which case, might I recommend checking out A-Roads-2012? I know, needless pitch, but come on. I have some good deals. Sure, I don't have dog food, but I could get some. I know, needless pitch too soon. But anyway, well, Stevenson doesn't have to worry, though. Her account was reopened about an hour before she sat down with WSAZ. This was the TV news report there. Amazon did not provide her any explanation for reopening or deactivating, and the story reactivating or deactivating the thing to begin with. During an interview, Steven called the company, letting them know a reporter was listening to the conversation and recording. The supervisor gave Stevenson a vague response to the reason her account was deactivated for approximately 1 week. Here's the quote here. They didn't have any answers. All they said was, "I violated a policy." It doesn't make any sense. No, it doesn't. She also asked the supervisor what she could do to avoid her account being deactivated in the future. The supervisor told her to read the terms and conditions on Amazon.com. According to CNBC, though, one issue could be with the third-party sellers compensating shoppers for leaving a review on their product. Stevenson says she leaves reviews of the products she purchases often and has reviewed products from third-party sellers in past and then received a discount code from the seller. She says she did not know that is against Amazon's policy, even if that is the reason for her account being deactivated. She says she has not received a discount code from a third-party seller in at least a year. And this isn't uncommon. There are people that'll do this, but they're kind of scummy because they just want the fake reviews. It's like, hey, if you give us a good review, we'll give you a discount code to use on your next purchase. I got a couple of those on eBay, and I politely told them, no, I don't do reviews. And I'll leave a review every now and then, but I'm not going to leave a review for every single thing I buy. It's asinine. As much as I would love to, I don't have enough free time to do that. But it could just be, all that. But then you have the entire issue of, yes, it's wrong. They do eventually get caught. And it does pan out in the end. They do find them. But then you also could be one of these people that, okay, there may have been an issue with the person's item. They may have told us about it. We sent them a discount code, and Amazon systems reading it like, oh, well, they gave a review, and then all of a sudden you sent them a discount code. We sent them a discount code because they had an issue with their item. They gave a review after we had already sent them the code. And you could have stuff like that happening, which I guess is apparently against the rules. And I occasionally am told if I have an issue with something that I buy on eBay, and eventually if it comes to the point where they have to refund me my money, they usually try to get my business back by going, hey, if you want to buy something else from us, we don't mind. Let us know when you buy it. Send us a note, and we'll take like 5% off your next order so that you don't feel sorry about it. I got that from one place that I did get screwed over on, and I ordered that figurine last year. It never showed up, and they're like, well, if you like to, you could. If you want to buy something from us again, let us know. We'll give you a discount on your next purchase to make up, to show how sorry we are. You have people that'll do that. That's not exactly what I would call wrong. But doing it, leaving a review, then getting a discount code is wrong. But if she hasn't gotten one within a year, then that's just nitpicking. So far, over several email and phone conversations, Amazon will not tell Stevenson if these kinds of reviews are the reason her account was deactivated. Shortly after Stevenson's afternoon interview with WSAZ, she got another email from Amazon saying, we appreciate you being an Amazon customer and thank you for your patience. We detected unusual activity associated with the items previously purchased on your account. And as a result, we had deactivated your account while we conducted a deeper investigation. Based on that investigation, we have restored access to your account. Any pending orders will be processed. You can track the progress of your orders in your My Account section of our website. We appreciate your patience while we conducted this investigation, and if you have any additional issues with your account, please feel free to contact us. It took you 7 days to do an investigation. Really? 7 days? eBay can do an investigation in 2 days max. Sometimes less than that. I've only had to expedite one problem to them once, and it was found in my favor in less than an hour. Really? 7 days, huh? Hundreds of Amazon customers are still taking to social media with frustration over their accounts being mysteriously deactivated, no reason given. They try contacting Amazon customer service. They're given different explanations. They're given basically the royal runaround and everything else. That Facebook group is a private Facebook group. It's nearly 3,000 members, like I said. Some customers in that Facebook group have admitted to violating Amazon's review policy by leaving positive reviews for products that they received for free or in exchange for a reward like a gift card. And you wonder why you were targeted. However, that doesn't account for all the affected customers, many of which claim to still be in the dark about why their accounts have been deactivated and how they may have violated the company's terms of service. So, it just gets worse, basically. Let's see here. What else? Okay. All right, here we go. Customers set up another private Facebook group in which there are threats for a class action lawsuit against Amazon. The group currently has over 700 members. So, the whole thing here, I guess Amazon's figuring that people violated the terms of use. They figure, okay, we're just going to screw them to the wall, deactivate their accounts. That's going to be the end of it. And now you're not even telling them why. If you do respond back, it's like the company line. This is not looking good for you at this point. You're deactivating customer accounts. You're giving them the company line as to why. You're not explaining it to them what they did wrong, which they have a right to know. What did they do wrong? And then you're going with the whole, thing too. Now you have the threat of a class action lawsuit possibly coming on your heads from this. It would have just been easier just to say, okay, we screwed up, server issue, that's why your account was deactivated, we apologize for the inconvenience, and called it a day. If you're gonna lie, at least lie with some dignity. So if you're one of the many people that were screwed over by this, there's a possibility that you may get compensation in the form of your account being reactivated. That's your compensation. Unless you're some of the many that might be going on the possible class action lawsuit, in which case, go for it. I don't want to condone it, but go for it. I'd love to see how that pans out for you. I really would. Okay, Pop Team Epic. This is something that has bugged the living crap out of me. Now, I've seen GIFs online on Twitter and Facebook. I have seen clips on Twitter, and it bugs the ever-loving crap out of me. Mostly because I want to know what in the hell it is I'm watching at this point. So, for those of you that don't know what Pop Team Epic is, congratulations! I can't even explain it to you, but if you don't even know what I'm talking about, I applaud your rock that you've been living under, because I want to find one just like it. So let me know where I can pick one up. But otherwise, if you spend enough time around enough anime fans online over the last few years, you're virtually guaranteed to have encountered fan translations of the webcomic Pop Team Epic. I'm not a fan of it. It's basically two girls, a small girl, Puko, and a tall girl, Pipimi. Ugh. Yeah, touch that. They've inspired a variety of memes due to its meta-comedy. Focus on internet subculture and propensity for rude gestures and language. There was a video I watched that every time it comes to my mind, I feel my brain cells start to die. It's called Let's Pop Together. Ugh. Now the manga self-deprecating, referred to as crappy, though perhaps a more accurate term would be modern, and perhaps the most accurate term would be extremely online, has been turned into anime. And it is exactly what humanity deserves. When the opening credits kick off with a CRT television being suddenly smashed in with a nail bat, that's how you know you're in for a cool time. Well, that the giant cool time banner. Yeah, I've never watched an episode of this. I'm literally reading off the article. I've seen clips, and it burns my head every time I think of the clips. They're idiotic. They're literally... It's like... try to think of a gag manga that I can think of. Think like Azumanga Daioh, or Shin-Chan, or... I would say Doraemon, but even that had some dignity to it. This has no dignity. Oh God, what was that one? It was idiotic. Oh God, I can't think of it. There was one that was so... Bo. There it is. That I had to think of it for a minute. Okay, so to say that Pop Team Epic's brand of humor is not for everybody, that's an understatement. Several segments may seem to follow traditional nerd humor, in the sense they overly reference recognizable bits of other popular anime, video games, films, and so on, but that Family Guy, Robot Chicken, Anime Con, Dealer's Room t-shirt stuff is too rudimentary. So quite a bit of Pop Team Epic is reminiscent on anti-humorous. I'm getting confused just reading this, literally. Did a 5-year-old write this? Was this written by a college professor? Was this written by somebody that has like 8 doctorates in film? Or are you a critic? Seriously, this is... Who wrote this crap? Hey, hold on a sec. Okay. Anime Fun Time Now by Daryl Surratt. Wow. Yeah, okay. Basically, it's not for everybody. No shit, Sherlock. It's not for everybody. Nothing can tell you otherwise that it's not meant for everybody. So, the repeated Pop Team Epic title card at the start of each segment do more than announce the studio responsible, though. They also give jokes time to breathe. Well, yeah, you can die laughing. That is a literal medical condition. You can literally die laughing. There actually is a chemical called laughing gas, nitrous oxide. And if you inhale it, you will start laughing. And you can die from it because you're not giving your brain a chance to get any oxygen. You can die laughing. It is possible. It's a horrible way to go, mind you, but it is possible. They did an entire episode on Code Lyoko about it, so it is possible. Let's see here. What do we got here? Okay, so Pop Team Epic isn't the same as the hyper anime comedies of yesteryear, like Excel. Okay, here we go. Here's an entire list of hyper anime comedies. We got Excel Saga, Elf Princess, Rain, Bobobo, Hair and Goo, and etc. Which bombard viewers with characters yelling and sensory overload. Really? I've seen Bobobo. That's just insulting. Despite being a duo, Papuko and Pipimi reject the traditional Japanese manzai joke setup, in which there's a straight-laced one and the funny one. It's a mistake to say that Pop Team Epic is on drugs or so random. This may act like it doesn't care, but it does, very much. You know, like anime fans on the internet. Okay, so we anime fans care for a reason. That reason is simple. We like what we see. Pop Team Epic to me is, I want to say, idiotic, to say the least. This is something that you would design for a 5-year-old, but then pitch it to a 30-year-old. Because we don't know what our target audience is going to be. You're throwing references from old anime in it, so you're trying to get the 30, 35-year-olds, even 40-year-olds. But at the same time, your animation style is set towards a 5-year-old. There's a huge screw you in here somewhere. I think the series is on drugs, to be honest with you. It is idiotic. If you get a chance to find any of the clips, watch them at your own risk. Especially that Let's Pop Together. Watch them at your own risk. It hurts my mind just thinking about it. There was a Pokemon one, I remember. Dragon Ball Z one, I think they screwed with once, if I remember correctly. So many of them. It hurts every single time. Oh, God. This is going to be a short topic because it's idiotic. It really is. Pop Team Epic is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. There, plain and simple. What's next? Okay, so who remembers that botched Pokemon Go festival in Chicago last year? Well, if you do, app developer Niantic has settled a lawsuit over the botched event for $1.6 million, or at least nearly $1.6 million. That's a lot of money. So some among the estimated 20,000 festival goers got very disappointed when the heavily promoted event was rife with internet connectivity problems, in-game crashes, and one who traveled all the way from California filing a class action lawsuit against Niantic over the $25 ticket fees and incidental expenses like mileage and hotels. I did talk about this last year. This was a huge deal because Niantic was pitching this as, look, you can gather all in one spot. It's going to be a massive thing. We guarantee it's going to be good, and it just crapped out. Poor connectivity. Verizon even admitted, yeah, there was nothing we could do. They tried the best they could to keep everybody connected. Wi-Fi towers, the cell towers, and the Wi-Fi networks just could not keep up with this massive data logs. Some ticket scalpers reportedly charged up to $400 on eBay after legitimate slots reportedly sold out in minutes. That's wow. According to the Chicago Tribune. Now, TechCrunch reports that Niantic has agreed to pay out $1,575,000 to help cover incurred costs for attendees. That's after previously offering refunds for all tickets, giving players $100 in-game currency and giving them all some legendary Pokemon. Yeah, so you got $100 in-game currency and legendary Pokemon. What the hell's your problem at this point? So you're out the money for a hotel room and a trip for a mini vacation. Okay, you got $100 in-game credits. In-game currency of $100, which my guess is you probably pissed away in about 6 or 7 days. So I've played this for my friend on her phone a couple times. I'll go around and I'll catch stuff. You can see how much stuff is in the shop. So it's easy to figure out, okay, they probably easily ditched that in a couple days. But giving them all some legendary Pokemon. Come on! What are you complaining about now at this point, then? Per TechCrunch, a class action website will be posted in the coming months for attendees to register for their slice of the pie. But it has at least some safeguards to prevent those scalpers and other randos from claiming rewards. So here's the thing, because a lot of people don't realize this. What scalpers will do is they'll buy up a crap ton of tickets for something. Like, let's say there's a concert or something, and they'll buy up a crap ton of tickets. Then let's say the performer gets sick, or the performer sadly dies, or they have to cancel that because they can't make it there. Like, let's say their plane's going to be delayed, or they're getting rerouted, they have a family emergency, what have you, and they can't get there. Those scalpers are then out the money because they can't just take back their tickets to Ticketmaster, because that's where a lot of them buy theirs using bots. They just can't take them back and go, yeah, I want my money back. They're out the money for that, and they get pissed about it. So scalpers that were charging a crap ton of money for this event probably aren't going to get it back, and they're going to be the ones that are going to be the most pissed. But according to documents that were filed in the Chicago court, an official website for the settlement should be up by May 25th of this year, with an email sent to let attendees know. The documents also note a few potential catches. Those claiming part of the settlement will need to have checked into Pokemon Go Fest through the game, presumably to prevent those who sold their tickets for a markup from getting more money out of it. Yeah, you already sold your ticket for like $450. You ain't getting more than that. And anyone claiming more than $107 in expenses will need to have receipts. So in other words, you can't say, yeah, I spent a night at the Ritz. I was at like, what's a what's a hotel in Chicago? That's a really popular one. How the hell should I know? I don't travel that much. But presumably anyone who paid for those $400 tickets on eBay, well, bad news, you're out of luck. And that's actually a good thing. That just proves your own stupidity at that point. If it's sold out, just take it that it's sold out and just go, okay, I can't go, and be done with it. Especially given that unregistered ticket scalping is usually illegal in Illinois anyhow. Hey, you live by the scalp, you die by the scalp. So, yeah, you're SOL, basically. And in all honesty, that's a good thing. I mean, you're idiotic to first off buy it on eBay for something like this, because you know that's going to be a scalper at this point. Never buy tickets on eBay, folks. There's free advice for you. Check Craigslist if you want. Make sure it's legitimate. Otherwise, if it's sold out, just take it that it's sold out. There's a reason it sells out. Why do you think musicians usually plan a second trip? Hey, we're going to come back to your area. The ticket's sold out. We want to give people a chance that may not have been able to see it the first time. But TechCrunch also reported that any remaining proceeds will be donated to the Illinois Bar Foundation and Chicago Run, a nonprofit promoting youth running programs, and will not be pocketed by Niantic. Now, Niantic makes enough money off of this game as it is. That's a simple thing. They don't need to make more. They make a crap ton off of this game as it is. So that's an easy thing. It may sound like a huge chunk of change, but as USA Today reported at the time of the sold-out event, Apptopia estimated Pokemon Go had already generated a staggering $1.2 billion in revenue, a figure... I'm sorry, I had to do it that way. A figure that had climbed to at least $1.8 billion by the end of 2017, and has in all certainly kept climbing since. This is one of those apps that I guarantee you app developers are probably kicking themselves going, why didn't I think of this? They're making so much money off. Why didn't I think of this? But anyway, so if you're one of those unlucky people that got screwed over at this event, keep your eye out. It's a class action lawsuit website forming. You guys, everyone involved can go there. If you were a dirty scalper, sucks to be you, because you're out money, and if you're a person that was stupid enough to buy your ticket on eBay, sucks to be you. First off, you never pay $400 for an event ticket on eBay. You never pay $400 for a ticket on eBay, period. Unless it's a historical ticket that's already been used. Like, let's say somebody bought a ticket for the Joe Frazier fight. That's something you would spend at least $400 on, provided it's real. You put that in an envelope, stick that in a drawer somewhere, and let that sit for a couple decades. And don't touch it. That's something you would spend $400 on. Not an event ticket for a game in Chicago, when they are probably going to use that as a testing ground to see how popular this is, and probably would have done one closer to you down the road. Alright, moving on. Holy crap, a second Pokemon Go topic? My God! Why? Well, because this one's kind of interesting. So Pokemon Go has updated itself with the legendary Pokemon Mew, Latios and Latias, as well as research tasks. Now, these have pissed off my friend for a multitude of reasons. But then again, as I was trying to explain to her, games like this eventually would have to come up with this in order to get some good stuff. Especially when you have Niantic constantly changing Pokestop locations and going, yeah, we're getting rid of this one and we're putting one over here. Changing Pokestops into Pokestop gyms and other things. So this is sort of like a ever-evolving game which still goes. So, in a recent update to Pokemon Go, including the addition of research mechanics and daily tasks and a story mission being added to the location-based augmented reality game, This update allows players to complete various tasks with the aim of unlocking various in-game rewards, which could include an encounter with a legendary Pokemon, including the mythical Mew, or as my friend calls it, Meow. Yes, my friend does not understand how Pokemon names. She calls Arbok the Cobra. She calls oh god, what she has weird names for all of them. Oh god, like the Gen 2 ones she was calling what the hell was it? Dunsparce, she called it the ugly thing, I think. The little top thing was Hitmontop. Something else. She just has like weird little pet names for all of them because she doesn't understand how they're pronounced, and it's hilarious. When she's trying to ask me who this Pokemon is, and I'm going, it's this one, it's this one, it's this one, and she goes, well, I don't know what that name is, and then she's telling me what it looks like, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's this one. Oh yeah, that's this Pokemon. Yeah, that's this Pokemon. Oh, okay. It's like, I know these things. I played the original I played the console games. So I should know these. At least up to the 5th gen. At least up to Black and White, I know. So the previous update added 2 different kinds of research quests. These come in 2 forms, known as field research and special research. Special research focuses on story-driven quests with Professor Willow. Yes, Professor Willow, the one grinding up all them Pidgeys that you've been catching for rare candies. That's funny. The field research involves tasks distributed by at local Pokestops. The first completed task of the day will reward players with a stamp, and once a player collects 7 stamps, they'll get a research breakthrough, which is where legendary encounters come in. So in other words, it takes you a week then if you get 1 a day. Come on, seriously? So in other words, 1 week you can run into a legendary encounter. Okay. As well as Mew, users on Reddit are also reporting encounters with other legendary Pokemon while carrying out their research tasks. This has included the legendary Firebird Moltres, or as my friend called... No, that's it. Ho-Oh! She calls Ho-Oh the Flaming Chicken! That's what it is! Ho-Oh's the Flaming Chicken! Now I remember. Flaming Chicken. You get the legendary Firebird Moltres, a Pokemon that was only previously available when taking part in raid battles at gyms. So, there are some things on here. It continues on, blah, blah, blah. Latios and Latias make a limited appearance too, by the way. Besides Mew and Moltres, some other legendary Pokemon have been added to the game for a limited time. Latios and Latias, which are the Gen 3 roaming rares, they were so cool. I got the red one from Sapphire, and I named it Chiron after the dragon in Legends. That was so much fun. They'll be available to encounter in raid battles around the world. These 2 legendary Pokemon started appearing on April 2nd and will be around until June 5th. But now, on May 8th, they're going to swap locations. So, for now, you can get Latios in the Americas and Africa, and Latias will appear in Europe and Asia. But on May 8th, they are going to swap locations. So after May 8th, it's going to be Latios will be in Europe and Asia, and Latias will be in America and will be in the Americas and Africa. So keep that in mind. You have till May 8th to catch one. So Pokemon Go players will need to team up and battle to and defeat these legendary Pokemon before they can be captured. It's worth noting that Latios and Latias are psychic dragon types and are weak against dark, fairy, dragon, and ice Pokemon. Just in case you haven't been paying attention. Because I'm sure by now somebody out there has already created a list of what Pokemon types are most effective, which ones you can use, and which ones have the best chance of beating your opponent. So in other words, if you want to take these on, might I recommend you drag along a Dragonite, possibly a Haunter or a Ghastly, maybe even a Scizor. That might help you out too. And definitely maybe a Seal, or a Glalie, or a Piloswine, just to name a few. Players are also reporting both Tyranitar and Malwell are appearing in raid battles and can be captured to use effectively against Latios and Latias in battles. If you're getting stuck or don't have the right Pokemon in your arsenal. So the game's literally breaking itself to give you the components that you need to win. You just actually have to know what you're getting. So that's kind of cool, actually. So there you go, whole new chapter to beginning your Pokemon Go adventures, kids. Go out there and run through traffic, I guess, as you try to catch these Pokemon. But please be safe and don't run into the traffic. No, seriously, don't run into the traffic just for a freaking Bulbasaur, or for a Pidgey, or for a Rattata. It ain't worth it. That's almost as bad as that Harry Potter game. Yeah, go Harry, go find a wand. Yeah, it's in the streets somewhere, I think. No, seriously though, in all honesty, be safe, be careful, but have fun. This seems like a blast. You get to do research quests in order to, get Mew. And it was just kind of fun explaining to my friend how Mew's origins came about, at least the supposed information that we have of the mythology for Mew, that Mewtwo was Mew's clone, and all the failed clones of Mew are Dittos. It's kind of cool, actually. I kind of like that mythology lore. I kind of hope it's true. Alright, so for those of you out there wondering, I talked about Hunter x Hunter coming back, the manga coming out of hiatus. Well, unfortunately, it's going back to hiatus again. And this is a sad thing. This does happen. It was nice while it lasted, but yeah, we knew it was going to happen. On April 9th, Hunter x Hunter will be returning to hiatus. Yoshihiro Togashi's Hunter x Hunter came out of hiatus this January and ran for 10 chapters. But that's all we're going to get for a while. Apparently, Togashi is going back on break for now. That's the word from the man himself in this week's Weekly Shonen Jump. The manga will appear for one more chapter in the April 9th edition, and then it's back to hiatus mode. Anime News Network reported that in the author's note, Togashi apologizes for going on hiatus again and promises to return as soon as possible. So, here's the thing. He takes frequent breaks due to health issues. It's all mangaka get this. Everybody that designs manga, because they're stressing themselves out, they work long hours, it does happen. Okay? This stuff happens. And every single time it happens, it's nothing you can really prevent, I want to say. It's health issues and everything else. Hoping that he gets the recovery that he needs. Because honestly, it could just be exhaustion. And he's pushing himself again. And it's like he just starts having a relapse of the same symptoms. This happens. But the problem is with mangaka that do manga series like this that are still popular and still running, it happens, and at the same time, why it happens is because they're trying to keep up. Because they know it's still popular. They're still getting paid for it, but if they can't do it, they're not getting paid. And then that starts creating a problem. It's not like they're purposely going on break because, they don't want to do it. It's the fact that, okay, I'm getting exhaustion. Or I'm having heart problems. It's health-related issues that are causing this. This stuff happens. There is a chart that shows how over the years there's been how hiatus-y Hunter x Hunter has been. And there's a chart for that. Wow, usually people would say there's an app for that. But yeah, there's a chart for that. So here's hoping that Togashi gets... I probably just screwed up the name. Hold on a second. Yeah, no, Togashi. Here's hoping that Togashi gets the recovery that he needs and he comes back soon and quickly. But it is sad that once again there's a manga series that is once again going on hiatus because of the author's health. And a lot of these, like I said, it could be worse. The author could die, because there was one manga series I did read about where the author actually did die, unfortunately. literally in the middle of it. It was a fairly popular one at the time, and all of a sudden they just died. They barely finished the arc I think that it was in, and they kicked the bucket from exhaustion. So this is a serious thing. So I'm really hoping that everything turns out well for him, that he comes back as soon as he can. Don't push yourself too much, but yeah, hopefully you'll come back and it won't be as bad as it was this time. Alright, if you're a fan of that group Baby Metal, they're a Japanese metal idol group. I can't find... I have a friend that watches them perform, listens to their music. Hell, he's even seen them perform. I've seen one song he sent me to try to explain to me what they were. I'm confused by it, and I like Japanese music as much as anybody else. In fact, I love it a little more, but even that confused the crap out of me. So, they're getting a graphic novel from Z2 Comics. Yeah. The Japanese metal idols will be sharing their origins in Apocalyptia. I do apologize for mispronouncing that. The Legend of Baby Metal. A graphic novel from Z2 Comics. As fans know, the band has a pretty elaborate mythology. The producer allegedly communicates directly with the Fox God. Oh, God. Who tells him how the band should sound and look, which is sure to make great material for the graphic novel. All hail the Fox God. A Hollywood Reporter quoted co-publisher Shidara Reddy as saying, "In the months to come, Baby Metal fans can expect more announcements, but today I would say the question we should be asking is not who is Baby Metal, but what is Baby Metal?" No. I think the question we need to be asking is who the hell cares? Seriously. But if you've ever wanted to catch Baby Metal live, by the way, which I don't plan to, they'll be on tour in the U.S. this May. So in other words, I can just see my friends probably going to be going there again. I'm going to the Baby Metal concert. Yeah, you have fun with that. Yeah. Bye-bye. Have fun. He's going to get eaten alive. He's been to a few of these before. Bye! I don't know. To me, it just seems like a really strange movie. Not even a movie. This is a really strange band, I should say. It's weird. It's strange. Now they're getting a graphic novel. I just don't understand it. But then again, I don't understand a lot of stuff. Alrighty, folks. Well, that's going to do it this week for the Absolutely Completely Random Podcast. If you have any topics or anything you'd like me to talk about in future podcasts, feel free to drop them at the email address acrpodcast@gmail.com, all lowercase. You can put them up on my discussion page here on my YouTube channel. You can drop me a tweet on Twitter at OtakuRoads. And you can even drop them or post them to my Facebook wall on WebDesigner18's Facebook page. And until next time, I'm Andrew Rhodes. This has been the Absolutely Completely Random Podcast. Have a nice, safe week and enjoy April because, well, it's going to be May sooner than we think now, huh?